Shooting Clubs, Shooting Ranges and Other Matters Amendment Bill, because I believe this is a very important bill that needs to be put on there. So let's see good old Nicole Mckee, who lives in Haitaitai in the Wrongtai electorate.
I nominate the Justice Committee to consider the bill, and at the appropriate time I intend to move that the bill be reported to the House by 4 months and 1 day after the bill has received its first reading. Mr. Speaker, I'm pleased to be in the House today speaking about this bill. This bill forms phase 2 of the government's 4-phased approach to firearms reform. Mr. Speaker, shooting clubs and ranges play an important public safety role in our communities. They are places for people to learn how to operate and handle firearms safely, as well as to practice and to compete. Amendments made to the Arms Act 1983 in 2020 changed the way that clubs and ranges were regulated. Clubs are now required to be approved and ranges certified. These new requirements came at an increased cost and time commitment for operators, many of whom are volunteers. Some of these changes have been positive, but others have gone way beyond what is necessary for public safety. And we are now at risk of losing safe venues for licence holders to use firearms safely due to overly burdensome regulatory requirements. This bill will simplify the regulation of pistol and non-pistol clubs and ranges and ease the burden on operators without negatively impacting public safety outcomes. Mr. Speaker, this bill amends Part 6 of the Act to improve how clubs and ranges are regulated. The changes will ease the burden on clubs and range operators while continuing to enhance public safety outcomes. The first amendment relates to pistol clubs and ranges. The bill maintains the current regulatory requirements, recognising the higher regulatory standards associated with pistols, but will streamline the annual reporting requirements. This change will avoid unnecessary duplication of administrative activities and reduce the time operators spend on requirements that do not enhance public safety. The bill will also amend some regulatory requirements that apply to non-pistol clubs and ranges. This is to reduce the compliance burden on operators where there is no tangible benefit to public safety. Firstly, the bill will introduce a streamlined enrolment system to replace the current approval and certification system for non-pistol clubs and ranges. These enrolment systems are designed to ensure that the regulator has the information necessary to ensure public safety, while reducing excessive costs for the operators and making compliance more straightforward. The second change is related to incorporation requirements. Currently, non-pistol clubs are required to be incorporated if they sell ammunition and firearms. The bill proposes that non-pistol clubs will not need to be incorporated if all ammunition sold on behalf of the club is used on the day of the sale and at the club range. They are not to be taken off the premises. The bill will also support the ability for clubs to establish and operate temporary non-pistol ranges to host club events, providing that the regulator is notified. This is particularly good news for clubs hosting large national, regional or international competitions. And finally, the bill will provide certainty about when compliance inspections for both pistol and non-pistol clubs and ranges can occur. It will clarify the role of the regulator in encouraging compliance for non-pistol clubs and the powers for monitoring and enforcement in relation to non-pistol ranges. These changes will ensure that clubs and ranges are not unduly burdened with compliance requirements while incentivising operators to maintain high safety standards. Further amendments to requirements agreed to by Cabinet earlier this year will be made by order in Council to the regulations once the bill is passed. For example, amendments will be made to the annual 12-event participation requirement for pistol endorsement holders. Once these regulations are in place, attendance at any organised shooting event in the host club's calendar will count towards these 12 annual shoots. Currently, only those undertaken at the pistol shooter's home club count, which was nonsensical considering pistol shooters regularly travel to compete. In addition, the bill contains provisions to reflect Cabinet's decision to transfer the administrative function for the Act from police to the Justice portfolio. To reflect this, the bill will provide me with regulation-making powers to recommend policy changes to Cabinet as we progress the reform. I will carry out public consultation in accordance with Section 74(4) of the Act before seeking Cabinet's endorsement on any policy changes. Mr. Speaker, it is important that we have firearms laws that improve public safety, are practical and make compliance straightforward. These laws should also support clubs and ranges to continue to operate safe and controlled environments where people can learn about firearms, practice firearms safely and compete. I look forward to hearing from New Zealanders across the country through the Select Committee process, and I hope everyone takes this opportunity to have their voices heard. Mr. Speaker, I commend this bill to the House.
I mean, I'm not a gun owner. I have shot guns before, but I'm not a gun owner. My question to Nicole Mckee, and I hope this does get brought up, is what is in the current legislation that prevents gun clubs from operating safely? Is it more of a red tape thing that they're unable to have as much liberty in the club as they would like? Or because I don't know, she hasn't really brought up anything there that relates directly to gun safety, like what problems were with the previous legislation.
I found quite interesting was the fact that now incorporated, now I'm not sure if that means either a limited liability company or the non-profit equivalent in incorporated society for selling ammunition that has to be used on the day. That was quite an intriguing thing in there. I don't know enough to comment, but that was something that was interesting to actually hear, even that, you should only be selling ammunition to licensed firearm owners.
I mean, I think the part that although I'm a center-right person, I feel that law and order is important, and I don't see why gun hobbyists, would want to have assault rifles. That is the part that is really concerning for me in terms of safety and security from law and order perspective, because there's nothing wrong with the hobbies owning guns legally and having fun and showing off each other's guns. Hobbyists do that. You can show off your sports car, you can show off your angling, how big the fish is, by all means, okay, of whatever culture, gender. The thing is that why would you need assault rifles? And then when you have them legally in your home, all you need is word getting around, and some really bad gang guys just raid your home to get these guns for obvious reasons. And so we open up that whole Pandora box of security. So I don't agree that even assault rifles should be allowed, because the automatic. What do you call it? The
semi-automatics.
You can shoot a few thousand rounds in the God knows how many.
Well, it's a bit extreme what you're saying there, but yes.
So
do they have that? Do they have that in gun ranges?
No.
No. The weapon you've described is a war weapon.
Yeah. Yes, it's a war. I mean, are people allowed to own that? Gun owners?
No. So that's the thing that Nicole has been stating. She said that no, you won't be able to buy these big magazine clips that you can expand, the amount of bullets that your AR-15 has. Now, I just want to preface that there is a use. So there is a practical use for AR-15s. I live in a farming community. People that do pest control often need to use an AR-15 to get the job done. However, the people that can do that, they're licensed contractors, right? I don't know. And so I would like to see some changes to legislation. Like I would like to see like a registered.
I do know Nicole Mckee is looking at. I'm not sure when it will happen, but it was a progressive licensing system for firearms that operate. From what it was described, it would operate similar to a progressive driver's license system that we currently use.
Yeah.
I mean, are those firearms going to be registered under the system that she's
I doubt it. No, she doesn't trust the police to hold the register.
So that's a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the thing with firearms is the fact that at the moment there is no registration requirement. I don't know what the guts is with the storage requirement. I remember what the ATC storage requirements were for the firearms.
Right.
And we had an addition that was excess to the regulation, but all ammunition was stored off-site at the unit commander's house. So the guns were on-site at ATC, but the ammunition was at the unit commander's house, which in that particular case was a hour's drive. It could take up to an hour to get to his house from where it was at the time. It's a bit quicker now because they have an expressway, but they didn't have that back then. So that was a step taking place. But you can store your ammunition legally next to your guns. And in one aspect, it makes sense to store it in the same gun safe in one aspect, if it's safe. But, if it get broken into, like, I remember that was something at ATC on firearms training and security, was the fact that you always store your ammunition separately in a separate secured safe to your guns.
That's right.
That was drummed into our heads from year one of ATC.
Jump in here.
And it would have been the same for the Army version of the cadets, same with the Navy version. It was a very standard thing that was said to us for gun safety.
So I'm just asking a question rather than anything else. So am I to understand that Nicole Mckee has put into law that assault rifles are banned? Means automatic what do you call it? The one that shoots
Semi-automatic
weapons.
Is that banned? Means we are not allowed to have that.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if she and yourself hold the same view.
Well, I mean, then that's great. I think that's a good thing she has done. See, well, okay, she's a hobbyist, but and I'm not sure whether she's a lobbyist, but well, the fact that
everyone questions her on what things she stands for. Yes.
Yeah. So,
should we move over to Jenny Anderson?